Last year, I made a review of Chip and Dale 2022, and my opinion on that movie was 50-50 compared to the animation community, where they, for the most part, hated it. There are some good parts in the movie that I liked, but on the whole, I was divided on the film. But my thoughts on Chip and Dale 2022 changed, and I want to make an updated thoughts on it. I even teased the video on my Bratz Kids Sleepover Adventure video, but that video ended up not happening. Of course the video couldn't happen because I had a whole new wardrobe update, and my Fictional Crushes video highlighted that. So, here's my new updated thoughts on Chip and Dale 2022. It's garbage. It's bad. The movie's logic is a mess. It clearly doesn't know its history of Chip and Dale and Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, as well as tunes in general. And it tries so hard to be relevant in making fun of the live-action Uncanny Valley CGI hybrid films like Alvin and the Chipmunks, when in reality, the animation community has moved on to Illumination and Disney's live-action remakes as their punching bag. And speaking of Disney's live-action remakes, Chip and Dale 2022 is unintentionally pro-remake, since for instance, Dale says that Baloo's career made new lights thanks to the Jungle Book remake in 2016. But if we're being honest, has anyone really cared about the Jungle Book 2016 remake nowadays? Not to mention, Chip gave in to Dale's insistence to make a Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers reboot, despite the fact that Chip does not like reboots. And lo and behold, the Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers reboot was a success. So, the main giveaway of Chip and Dale 2022 is that remakes, reboots, and revivals are actually good. And those who have valid criticisms of them are just too grouchy. And the less I say about Sweet Pete, the better. Though, if any character deserves to be the villain of Chip and Dale 2022, it should have been Ugly Sonic. His backstory has the makings of a villain backstory. Lastly, I need to bring this up. Most of the animation in Chip and Dale 2022 is actually done in CGI, including the puppet character and the claymation cop, Bourgeon and Captain Putty, respectively. Everything you know about Chip and Dale 2022 is a lie. For once, I have officially agreed with the animation community that Chip and Dale 2022 is garbage. Forget my old video about the film. That video should be buried like this movie. On to Bonkers! I didn't see much Bonkers as a kid, because I didn't have Toon Disney. At best, I have seen promos of Toon Disney that has Bonkers on my recess tapes. Then, in my teen years, I have seen some fan vids that have Bonkers in it. But that was it. Yet, this video exists because I finished watching Bonkers on Disney+. Let's talk about it! We have to address the elephant in the room. Bonkers was never planned to be a spin-off to Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I know that's a popular rumor that people wish was true, and I even got hit with this when I commented on Saturday morning's Rewind video highlighting some of Michael Bell's performances. Which, by the way, I found his performance as the Collector to be genuinely terrifying. He could voice a serial killer in an animated horror movie or show, and I would be freaked out by the character he voiced. It was that scary. But anyway, someone told me that since Bonkers was initially going to be a Roger Rabbit spin-off, Bell's performance as the Collector is a perfect match to Christopher Lloyd's Judge Doom, and I wanted to tell the person the truth behind Bonkers' origins, but I didn't want to come across as rude, so I just said, sorry, but Greg Weisman said that Bonkers was never planned to be a Roger Rabbit spinoff, but Roger did serve as an inspiration for Bonkers. It wasn't exactly what I said, but fortunately, the person didn't take any offense at that, though I did tell them that I like to imagine going bonkers as a horror movie. So if Bonkers was never planned to be a Roger Rabbit spinoff, and there was no plans for a Roger Rabbit show, fun little fact, what was the original plan for Bonkers? Well, Disney wanted to make a television show about a Toon Cop. Zootopia didn't exist yet. Although I couldn't find any more research about the production of Bonkers, Weisman's website has some interesting facts. Do you know Animaniacs? I do. And I know that the show loves to take digs at Disney, but the one Disney property they digged at the most was Bonkers. They shaded Bonkers like there's no tomorrow, calling it unfunny and a brainwater. And apparently, there was some reasons for it. Animaniacs was initially titled Bonkers, but the showrunners realized that Disney already had that title for their show, which, by the way, was initially called Toon Cop. According to Weisman, the title was changed from Toon Cop to Bonkers because of concerns about getting into trouble with Steven Spielberg over the word toon in the title, and someone thinking that the lead character's name in the title would appeal to kids. And yeah, it makes sense, since Toon Cop is not as catchy as Bonkers. But in another universe, Animaniacs is called Bonkers and Bonkers is called Toon Cop. I don't want my head to explode over this, though. Back into the production of Bonkers, it's important to note that the Miranda episodes were actually made first. Disney ordered 65 episodes for Bonkers, but when the episodes were brought back after being animated overseas, Disney was not happy with the results. So they threw all but 19 Miranda episodes in the garbage, and they brought in a new crew to start Bonkers from scratch, this time with him being paired up with Lucky Pakal. You've heard of reboots, but have you ever heard of a show that was rebooted during production? Well, that's Bonkers for you. Bonkers got a reboot before reboots were cool. In total, Bonkers has 61 episodes, plus 4 specials that were compilation shorts shown on Raw 2-inch, except for Pedal to the Metal, which was featured as the opening short for 3 Ninjas. But if the remaining Miranda episodes survived, Bonkers would have had over 100 episodes, and it would have been one of the few Disney shows that escaped the 65 episode rule, which for some reason Chip and Dale 2022 pretended that the rule didn't exist. So that was the production of Bonkers. What's the show like? Wiseman said that Roger Rabbit was part of the inspiration for Bonkers, and it shows. But while Roger Rabbit has live action and animation combined, Bonkers is 100% animation. Hey, if Darkwing Duck could get away with the real world being made in animation on live action, Bonkers can get away with doing the same as well. As with Roger Rabbit, there's cameo appearances of Disney characters, like the March Hare and the Mad Hatter from Alice in Wonderland, Goofy, Dumbo, Darkwing Duck, Lady and the Tramp, Launchpad McQuack, Donald Duck, Brer Bear from Song of the South, and even Mickey Mouse. Although Mickey Mouse is only shown in shadow in the beginning of I Oughta Be in Tunes because of Disney's limited policies at the time, he does show up in some merch on the show, and even on a painting in Marilyn's room, and imagine that! And besides the cameo appearances of Disney tunes, there's a lot of pop culture references and name drops in Bonkers. Pre-Shrek! The most notable examples I can think of on the top of my head are Columbo, Dick Tracy, Trivial Pursuit, Meryl Streep, and even Green Eggs and Ham. Wait, Green Eggs and Ham exists in the Bonkers universe? That means that the characters on the Netflix adaptation are actually actors, and Sam is just playing a con artist on the show. And to think I was heartbroken over an actor who was just doing his job. Sorry, I was just venting about Sam I Am, but I'm indifferent towards him now. I know this is going off topic, but I want to address something really important since I have seen Bonkers. Do you know Gargoyles? I haven't seen it, but I've heard that Gargoyles is often called a dark show for the Disney afternoon, since the previous shows were all lighthearted fluff. I don't agree on that. Why? Because I believe that there are 3 shows that represents the 3 stages of Disney afternoon going dark. Darkwing Duck is a childhood stage, and Gargoyles is full adulthood, while Bonkers is in the awkward adolescent stage. I mean, what else would you expect from a lighthearted show that has a father time going all Thanos on tunes because you never received a thank you? Possibility of kids eating cereal made from the flesh of a CEO? A tune throwing to kill an animation critic unless he says something positive about his show, Lucky nearly getting squashed to death, and my personal nightmare, the demented, evil laughing tune collector with pencils for fingers who collects tunes. I'm just saying that Gargoyles is not the first Disney afternoon show to go dark. But if we're going which batch of episodes are dark, the Lucky episodes are more darker than the Miranda episodes, though the climax of Dog Day Afternoon has Pitts planning to bomb a plane, which I'm surprised that wasn't banned along with Fall Apart Bomb Squad and New Partner on the Block, especially more so because of 9/11. What also doesn't make sense is that the Lucky and the Miranda episodes aren't connected with one another, despite the fact that New Partner on the Block explains why Bonkers got paired up with Miranda. The only connection those two share is that Bonkers' show was cancelled and was replaced by Bicep Bills. Other than that, nothing. And even the episode of Mice and Menace acts like Bonkers never had a pet before, despite the fact that he had one. Toots! And apparently Bonkers lives in a home in the Miranda episodes, despite the fact that he lives in a trailer in the Lucky episodes. Then again, it only makes sense when you realize that the Miranda episodes were made before the Lucky episodes. Ever since the trailer for Chip 'n Dale 2022 dropped, everyone and their grandma have pointed out how the film looks more like Bonkers than Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers. At the time, I didn't see Bonkers, so I didn't jump on the bandwagon. But at the same time, I want to watch Chip 'n Dale 2022. But I decided to watch a few episodes of Bonkers beforehand, which of course led to me watching the entirety of the show. Afterwards, I watched Chip 'n Dale 2022, and I agree with the public consciousness that Chip 'n Dale 2022 should have been a Bonkers movie. Again, Chip 'n Dale 2022 does not know anything about tunes. They depict tunes who are still popular with the general public as like, what it has been. Meanwhile, Bonkers has cameos of Disney tunes, but the show also references and name-drop Disney tunes, like Pluto and possibly Winnie the Pooh. Bonkers cosplayed as Peter Pan and calling all cars, and there was even a tune museum highlighting famous tune props in Disney movies. So, in the Bonkers universe, tunes like Pooh, Cinderella, Gus Gus, and Peter Pan are still popular just like in our world, not washed up like in Chip 'n Dale 2022's universe. But let's talk about another issue with Chip 'n Dale 2022. There is no mention of the direct-to-video sequels or TV shows based on Disney movies, which gets really nonsensical with the Disney Afternoon Smash Bros. Game. I know that the Disney Afternoon Smash Bros. Game is every 90s kid's dream come true, but this is where things fall apart very fast. 1. Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers didn't fully kickstart the Disney Afternoon block in 1990, and that was one of my biggest critiques of Chip 'n Dale 2022. They act like Rescue Rangers was the main kickstarter of the block, when in reality it was one of the 4 shows, alongside Gummy Bears, DuckTales, and Tailspin. 2. Abu and Timon and Pumbaa are on the cover of the Disney Afternoon Smash Bros. Game, even though in this movie's universe, Aladdin the series and Timon and Pumbaa shouldn't exist, since Abu and Zazu got bootleg. But going with that logic, the Disney sequels wouldn't exist, since Return of Jafar kickstarted the trend, and that was supposed to be a 3-part pilot episode of Aladdin the series. 3. And going by reason 2, Bonkers is on the cover of the Disney Afternoon Smash Bros. Game, even though, as mentioned earlier, Bonkers name-dropped Disney tunes like Possibly Pooh, cosplay as Peter Pan, and even mentions that Flounder was on another series in the episode Witness for Prosecution. Again, going by Chip 'n Dale's 2022's logic, Bonkers shouldn't exist, because The Little Mermaid and Winnie the Pooh TV shows never happened in that universe. And of course, Chip 'n Dale 2022 did Bonkers dirty, in a movie that's right up his alley. Tunes going missing? That's a perfect Bonkers movie right there. There's even a police officer who looks like a modern-day Miranda right in one scene. Now, I would forgive Chip and Dale 2022 if they added Bonkers in that scene with the blonde police officer. I mean, I would still be like, this movie should have been a Bonkers movie, but I'm happy he's here. But no, that didn't happen. Bonkers has been bootlegged. Though you could argue that Bonkers being bootlegged might be a reference to how the Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers fandom hated Bonkers for replacing their favorite show on the Disney afternoon, despite the fact that Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers ended 3 years before Bonkers came out. So they're mad over nothing. Then again, this is the Lonely Island. It may not mean anything. For all we know, Bonkers being bootlegged could just be a big insult to the bobcat in a movie that's clearly his. And I have to bring another elephant in the room again because this needs to be addressed. Chip and Dale 2022 ripped off the first episode of Bonkers. I am not kidding when I said that. I am dead serious. Going Bonkers was still fresh in my brain when I watched Chip and Dale 2022. And watching that film, I realized that I ripped off Going Bonkers. It's literally the same plot, but instead of laminating tunes alive, Sweet Pete has them bootlegged. I don't know about you, but I would rather be bootlegged than be laminated alive because at least I'm not dead. And yeah, I'm going to spoil Chip and Dale 2022 for those who haven't seen it yet, but I need to get this out of the way. Frankie Pete's form is literally the Collector times 9,000, but instead of being a mishmash appearance of animal parts with pencils and sharpener fingers, Frankie Pete has Wreck-It Ralph and Optimus Prime's arms that shoots style bill blasters, Peter Pan's torso, Mickey Mouse's pants, Woody and Optimus Prime's leg, Shredder's shoulder, Silver's coat, and a mix of Felicia, Marie, and Fat Cat's head. You see what I mean? It's literally the Collector. Chip and Dale 2022 has no place in calling out mockbusters when this movie is literally a mockbuster of Going Bonkers. Then again, Animaniacs shouldn't call Bonkers out for being unfunny when one of the reboot's episodes has the same premise as a Bonkers pilot episode where the majority of the cast of Animaniacs went missing. That's my video about Bonkers. My thoughts on the show is that it's funny, and Bonkers is super cute and adorable, and I just want to protect him! If you ask me what's my favorite batch of episodes are, the Lucky Pacella episodes are the best in my opinion. With the Miranda episodes, I like it, but I felt that Bonkers got owned too much. Again, the Miranda episodes were made before the Lucky episodes, which explains why Bonkers got owned so much. I hope you tunesies like this video, and if you want to, give Bonkers a watch on Disney+. I guarantee you it's much better than Chip and Dale 2022. Also, any video essayists out there, please do one about how Chip and Dale 2022 ripped off Bonkers' pilot episode. I would watch that for days. Okay, bye!